how do you identify the things that you should do from the things that you should not? Because, there's this sort of moral ambiguity out
Mhm.
there. You somehow have struck a balance of helping us understand moral clarity, understand good deeds. How do you do that?
I think just starting from the idea that the decisions that you make matter and that this isn't all a giant game is maybe a point that is not as commonly accepted as we would like it to be. I think about this with you and I both have podcasts. We know lots of people that have podcasts. I have been shocked and disappointed with the number of people that I know that seem to be willing to have utterly reprehensible guests on
Oh,
because
don't
they
get me
think
started, dude.
it'll do numbers, right? And then when they have those guests on, um, do this sort of both sides nonsense when there are some things to which there is no other side, and then not even to do it in sort of a journalistic way where you ask that person hard questions, but to ask this person who's actively spreading misinformation, or this person who is responsible for or done utterly repugnant things, to just be like, well, let's not talk about any of that. Tell me what you think about this. What kind of self improvement advice do you have, or whatever, right? And so there is this kind of world where it feels like we all know there are morally vexing, sort of difficult decisions out there, but those are for the other people to make. Me, I should just ask, is this good for my brand or not? Will this make money or not? Um, uh, it why shouldn't I, right? Like, and so this idea of deciding, there's this line from Confucius where he says, every person should act as if the weight of the world is literally on their shoulders. That every person should act as if their decisions have moral consequence, right? And I think we live in a time where people, I mean, first off, 50% of people just don't vote. Like the most basic sort of decision, a bit of impact you can have on the course of a government, and especially in a country like America, where that government then impacts the scope of world events. People are like, why bother, right? And so that is when you ask people like, hey, why don't you vote? And they go, well, my vote doesn't matter, right? Like statistically, it doesn't have consequence. Um, and this is why the idea of thinking about it as if it does have consequence matters, because
Yeah.
if you think it doesn't have consequence, you don't do it. If you think it does have consequence, you do it. And I point this out all the time. Like 2 cycles ago, the city council election in the town that I live in, where my bookstore is, was decided by two fucking votes. Two votes. And so that there were two people who said my vote doesn't matter. And in fact, their votes would have mattered. And as a result, all sorts of decisions that objectively impact the quality of their streets, the quality of care for the mentally ill homeless people that live in the town, the quality of care for children who are being in abusive or dangerous situations, the level or not level of policing you get. You go on down the line. These decisions are impacted by the people that you elect or do not elect to make those decisions. And so I think at a most basic level, when we're talking about justice, there's like just kind of an earnestness that goes into deciding that, hey, the decisions that I make matter. Look, you and I are not the producers of the Today Show. We're not even Joe Rogan, but the decision to who we decide to platform or not platform has some impact for some amount of people. And the decision to take that decision seriously, these are the kinds of things that fall under this bucket of justice, not whether, hey, is it wrong or right to murder someone, or can you or can you not do X, Y, or Z.